You know, some of the biggest stories we tell ourselves, the ones that kind of define who we are as a nation, are often more myth than they are reality. Today, we're going to dig into two classic American tales and uncover the pretty surprising truths they've been hiding. So let's get right into it. Kind of a weird question, right? I mean, one is this epic story of adventure on the high seas, and the other is, well, it's about city zoning laws. But the thing they share is a really popular, well-known story, and a much, much more interesting truth hiding just underneath.
All right, so let's start with what might be the biggest story of them all, the one that, for centuries, we've been told is the beginning of American history. The tale of how this so-called New World was discovered.
We all know this one, right? In 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. It's simple, it's catchy, and it puts this one heroic guy at the very beginning of the whole story. But that tidy little rhyme, it leaves a lot out of the picture.
Okay, so this timeline completely reframes that whole discovery idea. First off, for thousands of years before any European ship was even a thought, the Americas were already home to millions of indigenous people. And hey, even if we're just talking about the first Europeans to get here, it still wasn't Columbus. Around the year 1000, we're talking almost 500 years before 1492, Viking explorers led by Leif Erikson had already landed in North America.
So you're probably wondering, if Erikson was here first, why is Columbus the one we all learn about? Well, it really just comes down to impact. Erikson's arrival was, historically speaking, more of a blip. They set up a temporary camp, but it didn't lead to any kind of lasting exchange. But Columbus's voyage? Whoa, that opened the floodgates. It kicked off permanent European contact, which led to massive colonization and consequences that literally changed the world. So the key point isn't really about who was first, it's about whose arrival changed everything.
All right, let's jump forward about 400 years. We're moving from a myth about the nation's origin to a myth that's literally built into its capital city. We're heading to Washington, D.C. to take a look at another popular story, one that shapes a very, very famous skyline. You've probably heard this one, and it's a really nice idea, isn't it? That out of respect for George Washington, the city made sure no building could ever cast a shadow over his monument. It's a tale of patriotism and reverence, literally written in stone and steel. It's a great story, a really great story. But is it true? Is the entire look and feel of the nation's capital actually based on a symbolic nod to a 550-foot obelisk?
Well, the reality is a lot more bureaucratic. The actual rule comes from a federal law called the Height of Buildings Act of 1910. And if you read it, there's zero mention of monuments, no poetic stuff about founding fathers. It's just a zoning law.
And the law itself is surprisingly simple and has absolutely nothing to do with the Washington Monument. The rule is just this: a building can't be taller than the width of the street it's on, plus another 20 feet. That's it. It's a practical formula, probably put in place for things like fire safety and just wanting to keep the city's streets from feeling like dark canyons.
So let's put them side by side. The myth is this grand romantic story about national pride. The reality? A very practical zoning law from 1910. The result is the same. You get a low skyline, but the reason why couldn't be more different.
And this really gets to the heart of the matter. From Columbus to the Capitol skyline, why do these myths stick around so stubbornly when the truth is right there? Why are we, as people, so drawn to the simpler version?
Well, let's be honest. The truth is often a messy tangle of details, inconvenient facts, and yeah, kind of boring zoning laws. But myths are a straight line. They give us a clear hero, a simple reason why things are the way they are. A heroic discovery is just a much better story than a long, complex history of migration and contact. A skyline built to honor a hero is way more inspiring than one shaped by a formula about street width. We prefer the myths because it gives us a clean, satisfying answer in a messy, complicated world. So after pulling apart these two really powerful American myths, what's the real story we should be taking away from all this? I think it's this. The official version, that simple story we all learn and repeat, is almost never the complete story. The truth is usually more complicated, more nuanced, and you know what? It's often way more interesting than the myth it replaces. It's a good reminder that history isn't just a set of facts, but a story that we choose to tell. And that leads to one final question that I'll leave with you. Knowing that these huge, powerful myths are out there, what other official stories, big or small, do you think might be worth looking at twice?
What other truths might be waiting for us just beneath the surface?